Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the second day of the StarLadder CIS RMR closed qualifiers. The name's Sir Danny. I'll be joined here by the wonderful Cody. He's excited. Guys, you should also be excited. And the reason being is, of course, in this CIS RMR, we're going to see the new edition on the form of Ancient. It's going to be changing the map pool just a little bit. There was this sort of map by the name of Train, not sure if you heard of it, but now we're gonna see Ancient in the map pool, and of course in some of these games, because yesterday there was already a best of 3 in which we saw Ancient, and of course perhaps we may even see some Ancient today. Who knows about that one? But of course I know my man Cody is definitely excited to see some Ancient.
I am. I love the map. We were discussing it yesterday. I'm one of those casters and one of those players that enjoys maps like Vertigo, maps like Ancient. So yeah, I just want to see it be played. Hopefully we're going to be seeing the CIS guys pick it up just a little bit more. Maybe, just maybe, we'll see it in one of the 2 best of 3s we've got today. RMR points though, just to give you a quick rundown of where teams stand after obviously last year's RMR, gaining the points from there, and the RMR, I believe it's a month back now, in Epically. Team Spirit still far ahead, with Na'Vi kind of just coming up behind them, but a lot of the main teams you would expect in that top 5.
Yeah, it's not surprising in that sense, right? To see teams like Na'Vi, Gambit Esports, as well as VP. Probably the most surprising thing is that we do have Team Spirit, who's at the very top. And that is, again, one of those CIS teams that has been more or less on the rise, right? That has been trying to climb through the rankings. And fair enough to them. They have been the sort of dark horse that the people can see, right? Team Spirit, they have a good run in this one tournament or the other one. And right now, fact of the matter is, they seem to be a really good team. Not necessarily a dominating team, but a team to definitely look out in the nearby future. But before we look at the present, let's also look back at the past, because we do have Group A, and of course yesterday we witnessed some of the opening matches, and of course initially it was the Entropic versus Khan matchup, in which Entropic managed to dispatch their opponents relatively easily. And of course on our side of the stream we saw Nemiga go up against ex-Marlian. It did come down to a somewhat close affair on the second map, but of course it all comes down to a Nemiga victory at the very end. As for Group B, of course we also saw the opener Forza versus Esports Club Kiev, in which it was also Forza to secure the victory. And of course, Cody, you know it, I know it, yesterday's K23 matchup versus 100 PG came down to be a very close affair there up until the very end of the third map. That was a one-sided effort there from K23. And we also have our schedule for today. And of course, as today, we're going to see some victors, but on our side of the stream, looks like we're going to see some losers who will be eliminated from the StarLadder CIS RMR closed qualifiers.
Yeah, this is the second chance for these 4 teams. Khan versus ex-Marlian. Of course, the game after that being Esports Club Kiev versus 100 Ping Gods. It's going to be quite a close day all round, I feel. Of course, Khan definitely didn't have the performance that they would have liked yesterday up against a team like Entropic. But of course, as we know, Entropic, a very strong roster, beating out Na'Vi, if you remember, in the last RMR event. But when they're playing up against Khan, it was once again what we kind of expected. There's nothing really surprising that Entropic were able to dismantle their opponents. So I've got written down here, outclassed, outfragged, quite simply. A 16-6 victory on Vertigo and a 16-6 victory on a 16-4, victory on Overpass. It didn't allow Khan to get started. The lowest fragger on Entropic, being Nickelback, outfragged 80% of the Khan roster across those 2 maps. That should tell you everything you need to know. The fact that the lowest fragging player in Nickelback was able to pull more weight than 80% of an entire roster. We need to see more from Khan. Cut and dry, really. We need to see them actually turn up to the server today.
I also like the fact how you say not just 4 players were outfragged, it was 80%, which
you got to say, so it means the exact same thing, right? 4 out of 5 means the same thing as 80%, but 80% sounds bigger, it sounds meatier. When you want to get a point across, do the bigger number. So 80% sounds better than 4 out of 5. But yeah, it means the same thing, right?
For sure, and I definitely agree on the notion that a team like Khan is gonna have a difficult time going up against ex-Marlian, because at the very end of the day, I'd say the big problem for Khan is that from some of the matchups we've seen them play is that this seems to be, a somewhat fresh, newly established roster, and I'm not sure if they have the team cohesion down, though you could say, looking at the name value, you definitely have seen some of these names, like Papa. You may have seen someone like Capacho. Edward, of course, by far the most infamous and famous name. Never heard of Edward. It's okay there, Cody. It's a bit dissatisfying, if I'm being honest, that you don't know your history, but it's all good because this form of Edward, maybe it would probably hurt your heart if you were to realize that he's playing in a roster like this. But either way, let's get to the facts. Let's get down to business, and it is going to be the veto. So initially, it is going to be ex-Marlian removing the map here of Inferno. We also see Khan with the removal here of Nuke. And for ex-Marlian, yeah, it definitely makes sense on that sense. But ex-Marlian, okay, thoughts, Cody.
Ancient, no thoughts, just Ancient, brilliant, fantastic, I love it. Dust 2, however, I do have some thoughts about, and I made a little noise when I saw ex-Marlian ban out Inferno. Ex-Marlian played Dust 2 earlier today in the Ukrainian Cup up against esports club Kiev. They got decimated, just like they did yesterday up against Nemiga. They need to start banning this map. I appreciate that statistics say they're good at it with a 75% win rate, but that's only over 4 maps. We need to see them either change their playstyle on this map of Dust 2 or drop it and just put that as your permaban. The instant ban from Khan on Nuke, that has been their permaban pretty consistently. They haven't played it at all as this 5-stack. So I'm not surprised we're seeing that. Mirage getting banned out as well. I think Khan seen how ex-Marlian play yesterday, almost taking that map off of Nemiga. So they're just being a little bit cautious around that. Overpass banned, and Vertigo as our final map. You know what? I'm loving this best of 3. Just change Dust 2 to something else, maybe an Overpass or something like that, and I'll be even more ecstatic. But Ancient, Dust 2, Vertigo, I'll take that.
And in the case of ex-Marlian, I definitely see the reasoning why they've gone for the pick of Ancient, because they've already played the map in the open qualifier stages at least once, perhaps at somewhere like round 128. They may have played it against some of the other teams that were in the open qualifier. Right, and in the case of Ancient, I mean, this is the sort of map you expect to be picked by some of the lesser teams in World Counter-Strike, right? Because this is the sort of map that it's fresh. It is so fresh on the map pool that some of the better teams, some of the big teams, they should be somewhat feared upon on this map, right? Because even though they may have the experience factor, but you can still see them struggle in a map like that. For example, I think a good scenario would be the Gambit versus G2 game that Coach Lau dissected alongside Stiko, and you can also see in that matchup that even though G2, a prominent roster, have got some really good members on that team, but because it is such a fresh map in which you gotta relearn the timings, you have to relearn the rotations and whatnot. So even though you have some really skilled individuals, the fact that there are so many unknown quantities in that map can really cause a ruckus.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like Ancient is still in the teething stages. Obviously, it's had some adjustments. A lot of those cubbies, a lot of those little side hauls, which people were able to exploit, get into corners, really use things like the Mag 7 and Nova, which is what we saw quite a lot in Pugs personally, and some of those early games of Ancient. Have been essentially destroyed. They've been removed to level it out a little bit more, to make sure there's these more long angles. To be honest with you, all things considered, 65 games played in officials on HLTV that have been recorded, that's a pretty good amount considering Ancient's been out, what, 3-4 weeks right now? It's still relatively new, it's relatively fresh, and, well, people seem to be picking it up more and more. So I feel like there's going to be more of a push towards Ancient than there will be, say, maps like Vertigo. Of course, we're going to be seeing both if this goes to all 3 maps. But I feel like there's a lot more opportunity on Ancient for a level playing field on that CT side and T side. And I think the stats back me up on that as well. So I'm excited to see this as the first time we're seeing it during this closed qualifier. Of course, you mentioned it was played yesterday, but we didn't get to see that, and now we get to see 2 teams battle it out. And of course, this is kind of their last-ditch efforts inside of this closed quali.
Yeah, and you also mentioned that, a map like Vertigo probably received a lot more pushback from the community. At least it feels like it. Initially it also felt like, a lot of teams were just banning out the map, unless it was, some of the smaller tournaments or perhaps some relatively new or fresh open qualifiers that open up for some smaller event and whatnot.
Yeah.
Those seem to be the ones in which you could see a map like Vertigo pop up. But in professional play, it seemed like it was avoided like the plague, right? You got to make sure that you don't want to play that map, and you're probably not going to be practicing on it. Of course, after some changes, some big changes that were made by Valve, suddenly the map becomes a lot more feasible to play. It has become a lot more friendly for the pros to try and improve on the map and definitely try out some new tactics and build on some new strategies. And a map like Ancient, I mean, this is so fresh to have this sort of map. I'm sure we're going to see the meta change thousands and thousands of times, right? Obviously, I've also heard that the map of Ancient has some similarities, again, with some of the other maps in the Counter-Strike map pool. I mean, if you take a look at something like Middle, right? Middle does seem to have this uncanny resemblance to something like Cash's Middle, because you can also boost up, go towards the B bomb site, kind of like it is with a boost up in Cash to go towards the B bomb site, for example. You can also throw down the cross smokes to try and cross safely to said B bomb site. So absolutely, definitely has some similarities with some of the other maps, and I guess that's why adapting it has become a little bit easier for some of the professional teams, for some of the teams of the lower caliber Counter-Strike. And again, it's also the sort of map that you definitely want to try to improve upon if you are a fresh roster.
Yeah, certainly. If you can have that in your back pocket as a, hey, we've been practicing on this new map just like you guys, you're at the same starting point, right? You're at this level before the map gets released. The map gets released, all the teams then start practicing at the same time. Meaning if you're a tier 2 team, you're going to be on the same level as that tier 1 team if you're putting in the effort. And I feel like even with the experience that we're seeing on a team like Khan, obviously with Edward, with Rage, Topper, Capacho, considering where they've all come from, obviously with Topper and Capacho coming from the Navi Junior roster. Of course, they're inactive at this point. Rage played for Hard Legion for a strong majority of last year during their good run through the CIS region RMRs back then as well. I think it was the Road to Rio that they actually qualified for, of course, that event being cancelled. But yeah, there's a lot of experience there, but I feel like Marlian are going to be able to take advantage of that coming into a map like Ancient. Let's see if they are going to be ready for this. All things considered, there's a lot of similarities, as you mentioned. I think it is a bit of a hodgepodge of all 6 other maps in the pool right now, kind of added into Ancient. You've got those long angles, you've got that mid, as you mentioned, you've got these slaloming corners that you're used to on maps, well, like Train, like we used to see back then before it died and fell off a cliff, rest in peace. But I feel like it's been replaced by a good map. Ancient is certainly a good starting point for these two teams. Marlian yesterday, of course, they weren't able to find the dub on even map, a 16-7 loss on Dust. Hopefully, they're going to be able to put in a better performance when they're playing up against Khan. Of course, if we compare Nemiga and Khan, there's definitely a skill disparity there. I certainly feel like Nemiga are kind of head and shoulders above where Khan need to be at this point. And like I said earlier, Khan just needs to turn up to the server. Yesterday, a 16-6 and a 16-4 defeat. That's unacceptable at this point. They are going to get knocked out if they do not perform better than they did yesterday. Outclassed, outfragged. They need to do more. Hopefully they can play as a more cohesive unit. I know they're a bit of a mix right now coming through the open qualifiers. It's kind of a stack of 5. If they want to stay together, if they want to continue playing together, this needs to be the time that needs to turn it around. They need to get through to that lower bracket final to be able to stand a chance at all.
For sure, and for a squad like Khan, you're probably not expecting too much out of them. I mean, fair enough, they went up against a pretty big team in the form of Entropic, but also this being, a somewhat fresh project, right? With Edward joining in the mix, I think it's going to be somewhat difficult for them to go up against ex-Marlian, because even though once we saw them play against Nemiga, there were definitely some difficulties on the side of ex-Marlian, but what we saw was some more team cohesion. They have some great individuals at play. I mean, undeniably so. Wrinkle's performance on Mirage yesterday was superb. He played some really good Counter-Strike. The problem was, none of his teammates were able to step up to the very same pedestal. Otherwise, perhaps if someone else is able to frag, not necessarily on the same level of Wrinkle, but at least, getting himself 20, maybe 24 frags, I think ex-Marlian are able to close out that second map of Mirage and put us on the third, but ends up being the case that even though Wrinkle gave us an MVP level performance, still wasn't enough. And also we could look back to a map of Dust 2, right? We look at Dust 2 in this video and we say, ooh, this is probably not the best choice here for ex-Marlian. Yesterday, once they played against Nemiga, initially looking competitive, looking quite good in the sense that they're individuals, they're strong, they're going for the individual plays, they've got some tactics mixed in as well. It was a pretty good start, but at the very end, Nemiga's CT side was more than capable to dispatch of ex-Marlian, and we use terms like perhaps they just ran out of steam, and it definitely felt like so on that very first map of the best of 3.
Yeah, that second map is really well it started to come out on top. And I'm glad that you mentioned Wrinkle. 1.74 was his rating at the end of that second map of Mirage, which is nuts. He was the only player who had an above 1.0 rating on his squad, which is crazy. Everyone else just essentially wasn't pulling their own weight. He was pulling them kicking and screaming through these rounds. 32 kills on Mirage, and I think quite a similar story as we looked at Dust 2 as well. Nikita didn't really show up. Of course, being the IGL, you kind of expect him to be a little bit further down the list, but only dropping 5 kills in that first map, and I believe it was 12 on the second. That's just not good enough, unfortunately. You need to see a little bit more, especially when you're going up against the side of Nemiga. I mean, realistically, if he gets more frags on that second map of Mirage, maybe it goes 16-14, maybe it even goes 15-15, we go to overtime. Just some of those clutch situations is what we're going to need. Marlian are warmed up, though. Don't know about Khan. Marlian have already played a best-of-3 series this morning up against eSports Club Kiev, as I mentioned. They were able to win in the grand final of the Ukraine Cup and actually take that title for themselves. So congratulations to them. They're already winners in their own book. Are they going to be able to join the kind of storyline of winners on this server as well? Khan going to be on the CT side. Is ex-Marlian on the T? How's this one going to pan out? It's a 5-man push here from Marlian setting up towards this B bomb site. Are they going to go for a quick execute, or are they going to wait for the push? Topa holding inside a dig, spots out Wrinkle, but he's so good. Swings wide, takes him down with a Glock. Does he upgrade himself to that fully automatic? Yes, he does. And the chip damage is being done to Edward, down to 11 HP. L4 finds one of his own, and it's all falling apart this round. Marlian taking a relatively slow push, all things considered. Gets that bomb planted, completely shuts Khan out of the site. Now we need to see the retake. 4 versus 3.
The positioning is so good as well. Nice Molotov, though. That's going to force Owner to retreat, but at Khan, as they're going for the push, they need to find the frags. Oh, they're getting a few of them. Krifta, prime position. The bomb is being defused. He has to go in for the play. Where's Native? Finally, the defuse will be stopped. And as the bomb gets planted in the default position here on Ancient, it's always such a scary sight to behold because it feels like, again, some of the players not necessarily in tune with the timings of Ancient. And even though perhaps you might think, okay, 5 seconds, I can go for the peak, it feels like some of the CTs have such a good opportunity to get that defuse in.
Yeah, if you can use utility to its full effect, then you are just going to be able to retake that site pretty easily. Same can't be said for the A site, though. A site of this map resembles, I would argue, Dust 2's B site a little bit. A couple of entry points and then some rotates straight from the CT spawn. So it's quite hard to retake if the T's take it. Of course, from my experience of casting this, it's only been a couple of games so far. T's do usually edge more towards that B site. We're going to be seeing that in this round here as well. Wrinkle going to be finding that opening kill once again onto Topper. As he gets caught off guard on the off angle. Dig. L4 holding onto the site. Deagle in hand. Looks for the 1D onto Nikita. It's not going to be a clean one, but the spam does indeed connect. Takes him out of the round. Now brings us down to a level 4v4. 1 minute and 5 on the clock. Marlian taking their time with this execute. L4 on the site, waiting for the swing. Curved are going to get taken down. Deagle shots connect from the Pistol Master himself. Anything else to be found? Rage finds one, but I think Marlin still had the firepower.
Oh, Native and Owner. This is where both of the players have to combine their efforts. That's Molotov, though. That's going to flush Rage out of position, and looks like we're going to see the bomb plant at the default position Right behind that pillar, it's a safe spot to get the bomb planted. But Edward edging his way forward. That's a good flashbang. Gets himself the one on native. And Owner has 3 players to go up against. Now he could potentially find the one here on Edward and Rage with the scout. Oh, the tag though. That's massive. The Deagle's gonna move in. Rage follows suit. That will be conned with the response. A great pickup in this round. Also, ex-Marlian. They didn't feel like they went for the full commitment on the B bomb side. Felt like it was a little bit disjointed.
Yeah, I completely agree. They were a cohesive unit there. They had 2 people push in, and then after one of them get caught off guard, they kind of fall back. They're unsure if they want to continue this push, rotate round. They had time to, but instead it seemed like just a bit of a gamble play on this B site, which doesn't work out. And you're just seeing the influence there of how good these force buy rounds can be. You can buy up a scout, you can buy up the Deagles surrounding it. The second that scout gets a body shot, you're essentially a dead man. You're going to get overwhelmed by the 60 damage those Deagles can do to the chest if they hit it just right. Nevertheless, it's round number 3. We're going to be seeing Deagles on all 5 players of ex-Marlian. Did not eco 1 round on that Mirage game yesterday. They like force buying, and I can see why. It worked out pretty well for them when they bought into those anti-eco rounds and forced up just to make sure they were competitive in these usually non-competitive rounds. Native going to be trying to hold mid right now. No armor to his name, but Eagles ever so brutal. L4, head ripped clean off his shoulders. A clean one there by the IGL Nikita. Native finds one on Edward also. Well, there's your opening.
Make that 2.
Man advantage, yeah.
Bomb is going to be recovered here for ex-Marlian. They could potentially hit the A bomb site from main. Plus, they also have Wrinkle close by Donut. So they could enter the A bomb site right now. There's currently just Lonesome Capacho here on the side, and he has to check 2 angles at the same time. Now, this is difficult. Plus, we could also see one play in the form of Krifta, or perhaps no, it's going to be Wrinkle to open things up, entering the good old-fashioned way. And so no backstabs will be necessary.
Not even surprised with Wrinkle now. Oh, Native. Was that jumping? Was he really jumping when he hit that shot? Rage is not best pleased. Topper, he realizes there's nothing else for him in this round. He's ensuring he can save what he can. Got himself a little bit more utility. Picked up off the floor. There's a diffuse kit on his back as well. And M4, you know what? Can't really ask for much more. Khan are going to be dropping around here. Marlian going to be up to 2 with 4 players surviving. A couple of weapons recovered as well. The decoy buy up on all 5 works wonders. Pushes the CT economy back down into the dirt just a little bit. Nikita, don't really want to be dying there, my friend, but wants to make sure that the bomb site is completely defended. Round number 4 seems to be on the way.
This was some nice entry fragging from ex-Marlian. Look at Nikita's positioning, but also look at Frankel. Great adjustment on the player. Native picking up a massive frag there in Rage as well to just seal the deal. Ex-Marlian, great pickup in this round. We saw some aggressive maneuvers there from Khan, and really doesn't go their way. And perhaps some mid-control early on. Owner with the AK-47. There's the smoke grenade for House, and there we go. Full mid-control here for ex-Marlian, and now they have a lot more options to work with. Just like on a map like Cash, once you have mid-control, you can very easily go towards the B-bomb site, but you also have A as an option.
The only thing I don't like here is the fact that they've dropped the bomb back in water, essentially. Gonna have to make it re-rotate. Not gonna be able to really force off the back of this contact plate. Top up does get revealed, but not gonna take any damage. Chucks a smoke down just for good measure. L4 looking to help out his teammate there, but instead Topa finds the opening kill. Upgrades himself to an AK as well. Drops that M4 down to L4, and he finds a frag onto Wrinkle as well. What a player to be able to take down there. Head spotted out for L4. He's looking for the taps at range, but no connections this time round. Edward on. Curved up, out of the round. This round now falling apart. It's the eco rounds that are doing wonders, it would seem, for both sides at this point. Can't. 5 versus 2. Made that a 4 versus 2. Now Native on the site, looking for blood. Hunting his opponents down as they look to plant the bomb as soon as possible. Nikita gets it down. Edward out of the round. Is this actually going to be a reverse sweep?
Oh, Nikita.
Oh!
massive swing, deals the damage here and makes it. Being left in 1 versus 2, but yeah, Tapa's gonna win him out. Very nice positioning there from Tapa at the very end, and Khan with an interesting setup on the A-bomb side. We obviously saw one of the players close by Donut and the other one here at the site. It felt like it was a good crossfire setup, but as we saw Nikita, too shabby there. Ex-Marlian tries to enter the A-bomb site, but it always feels like it's a difficult task to enter the A-bomb site. You absolutely can use the utility, but there's just so many angles to check, and absolutely, the players, they're just not used to it.
Yeah, it's got to body check them. You've literally... Utility's all well and good, but you need to be pushing, finding those frags, just clearing the site effectively. Either way, the bomb plant, but no round gained there by Marlian. Nice retake from Khan. They do a great job of finding it. Edward, somehow, just spotting that player in the distance. Dopper off the back of the flash. Mel fought. Krivda was completely blind. He still finds that kill. Well for us to run for the hills. No way he wants to be taking that peek after his teammate gets domed like that. 5 versus 4. There's damage done to these two players on Nikita and Krivda, respectively. Puts them in a dangerous spot against these M4s. 1 tap capable now.
I've got to be careful here as well. As players like Khan. Right now, they're playing this one somewhat safe. And rightfully so. They don't want to go for any of the aggressive plays, but they are very much putting a lot of emphasis on the B-side hold. And right now, they're playing this one aggressive. They're gathering the information. They know there's no one towards the B-bomb side. They might have to put their forces towards A. Capacho now, holding a more aggressive angle, so to speak, but still in desperate need of the backup, which should come momentarily. 40 seconds right now. We're seeing the utility being used, these smoke grenades, the flashbangs. Capacho with the perfect angle gets himself the 1. Edward chimes in with a second and the 3rd. That will be a great cleanup for Khan. Some really good mid-round plays to make the information play. They had realized the B-bomb set is empty, and they fully rotate towards the A side.
Yeah, that swing play is absolutely perfect there from Edward. Baiting out his teammate effectively, right? Capacho swings, gets 1 kill, then they don't know where Edward is due to the fact of the A1S, as a matter of fact. Swings, takes down 3. Very, very nice from him. His experience clearly showing on the server. Now it's going to be Deagles once again for ex-Marlian. Molotovs go down to be able to stop that push from elbow. A couple more being deployed to be able to stop any form of T aggression towards back alley. Down by B-ramp. Chopper going to be on this swing though, and I don't think I like it if I'm honest. Doesn't really find much damage, and he's dropped down to 5 HP in the process. Native finds the head of Edward. L4 picks up that kill onto Nikita. On the cards, it's 4v4, but damage being done to Topper certainly favour Marlian in this round.
Oh, Rage is going to swing out with the MP9. Ooh. Gets himself the 2nd as well. Not too bad, ex-Marlian. At one point, yes, they were looking solid. They had the manpower, but now the bodies are going down. Wrinkle, massive pickup in Rage. Puts it back to the 2v2. A somewhat dual position, and maybe Wrinkle can catch someone like L4 off guard. L4, though, will be going down.
Body shots, very, very potent with the Desert Eagle. Capacho now on the rotate. So the back alley, holding, waiting. Here's the bomb go down. Trying to find some form of information. Krivda does get spotted out. Orb in front of Capacho, has no need for it though. Reads it perfectly. Takes down Wrinkle, now knows where Krivda is. It's going to be a body shot needed. Or a couple, should I say, from Krivda, but no dice. Spam down by the AK, and well, all things considered, it's a pretty decent round from ex-Marlian. Deagles across the board, they find 4 kills, they get the bomb planted, they've hurt the CT economy, and now they have a buy.
I mean, they were so close to winning it as well, though.
I know.
That's the satisfying thing. They were so close to getting the victory. You're also thinking we saw that 1v2 scenario, and perhaps if Wrinkle just waits just a little bit longer, if there would have been some better communication on their side, and we see the double peak, there's no way in the world we see that victory there for Khan. Surely it could have been a round victory for ex-Marlian, but like you say, yes, they get the bomb plant, they deal some damage, and now they're back with the rifles. Owner, very quick mid-play, also gathering the information, and has a lot of map control for ex-Marlian.
Owner had a slow start yesterday as well, but once moved to that second map of Mirage, that's when he started to do some damage. Still yet to frag on the server so far. Capacho picking up Native on the other side of the map, while we see the T's taking down L4. Topper and him being a little bit too aggressive, I would argue. They try for that early peek above the smoke. Do get spotted out due to it. 4 versus 4 with a minute and, 5 on the clock. Capacho holding towards Donut. Temple was his domain, but has to fall off. They bait a rotate out from Rage here as well. He's now not got any form of mid presence. He's just holding that long angle into Donut. Topper picks up Crypto as well as he continues his B defense. 40 seconds on the clock. We need to see an execute here from Marlian. They are running out of time. Limited utility to play with as well. Double flash and a molly. Sorry, double flash and a smoke, should I say. Needs to be clean. Smoke soon to be going in, but Nikita getting tapped down. Doesn't fill me with much confidence, Danny.
Oh, but top up. Oh, picking up another frag. Okay. So nice, so good, and so clean. Ex-Marlian, though, yeah, that was not a good hit on the B bomb site. Again, one of the important things, if you're hitting the B bomb site here in Ancient, I think you absolutely need to be precise and explosive. Those are the two main qualities. If you are hitting the B bomb site, you got to do it with at least 3 or perhaps 4 players hitting the site simultaneously. Nowadays, what we've been seeing is that primarily it is, for example, a team like FPX, if they're hitting something like the B bomb site, they're going to have all their players at ramp, and then they're going to explode on the side. This is perhaps something ex-Marlian can try in the nearby future, or perhaps they might try it right now.
Yeah, they're thinking about it. A lot of utility being committed here by the CT side to begin with. That HE does quite a bit as well. Krivda down to 55, Wrinkle on 73. Owner on 9C, but that's neither here nor there at this point. Need to make sure that Lightning can strike twice in the same place. The Deagle buy earlier on worked out fantastically for them. Can they make it happen here as well? Edward reveals... Oh, no, it doesn't reveal his position as of yet. Native does get caught by him. One more bullet was all that was needed to connect there to be able to take down Edward, but it's not going to happen. Topper dropped down to 9 HP as well, being a little bit weak. Smoke going to plume here for L4 to be able to stop the push from Marlian inside a cave. Can he spot anyone out? Don't believe so. There's no gap there, but he's just going to be holding for this cross. I love this boost here from Owner. Nikita might want to jump up and actually give him that extra height, but it's not going to be the case. L4 finds Wrinkle on the rotate. They reveal the positions. They push onto the site. Topper finds one. Now to 1 versus 5. Owner's just a bit of a consolation frags. He gets one, needs to reload, falls back 2 HP to his name. If he can take down the AWP, it'd be a hell of a round, but not going to be possible. It's a 6 for Khan. Much, much better performance than what we saw from them yesterday.
This is quite surprising as well, because ex-Marlian, this is their map pick. So I'm thinking, right, they must have done the preparation. They clearly have some strategies, and you can see that they have prepared for this map. They know some of the smoke grenades on how to take something like mid control. They've used the smoke grenades on the B bomb set as well. But you can also see that the members of Khan have also somewhat made some preparations on it. The early smoke grenade coming in there from ramp. That is a nice smoke. Stall the push of ex-Marlian. That could happen here, but middle. Look at this. L4 holding this position right now, waiting for some of the players to approach, but not going to see anything just yet. It's once again ex-Marlian with the mid control, and this time though as well, AWP in the hands of Wrinkle.
Look at this confidence. Look at this aggression from Capacho. Pushing straight up into main. Waiting for T's to lurk into his line of fire. Native, though, still just going to be taking it slow. No need to push up that high. Position revealed from Wrinkle. He is going to swing it. He realizes that they haven't pushed up high enough to take full control. Wrinkle there with the trade after Capacho picks up the opener. Now we need to see this utility really take control of this site. Wrinkle has a molly and a smoke to work with. He could molly off Edward and then force him into a pretty decent angle, I would say. Instead, going to be pinging that over towards CT. Edward yet to reveal himself. Wrinkle not even expecting the angle. It doesn't seem like Nikita's going to be able to clear him, though. Rage with the trade, instantaneous. Molotov goes down to stop the push from CT. or not. The bomb I thought was due to be planted. They stop it. Now they plant it. L4 in the swing. Single blitz and Nikita is all that's going to be needed. Owner, lucky to get away from that engagement without Topper seeing him, and he's going to be able to catch him off guard due to that fact. Bomb now going to be planted. Rage on the swing. Taking down Owner. 1 versus 1 now. Cribbed up. What a clutch that was. Not going to be able to get the bomb planted, but still finds those 2 kills. Upgrades himself to an AWP as well. It's a 3rd round for ex-Marlian. It's taken them a while to get going, but it looks like this could be the turning point for them.
Perhaps on round like that, a clutch from one of your players is always a nice boost in crypto. You can see the awareness, expecting a player like L4 to move in, and Crypto just swings out, sprinting with the AK-47 and secures the frag and the victory for ex-Marlian. Maybe a faster style of play here for Crypto. Well, at the very least, it is going to be some early presence here from Crypto, throwing down these smokes, the Molotovs as well, to try and stop any aggression. But look at Edward flashes for an in. This is a very good spot, and of course, they're not aware of it. Edward, with a perfect angle, eliminates Owner.
Yeah, but not before Owner hits that 1-tap onto Rage. Could have been avoided, that kill. Little bit of patience this time. Doesn't help out. Crypto now being a little bit cautious. Side of what I would essentially call connector. Holding, waiting. Someone to peek into his crosshair. Topper going to be doing the same. Ollie goes in, clears the cubby on site. That now allows Crypto to push on through. Going to be lurking around back alley. Who's he going to be able to spot out? There's a scout he needs to be wary about. As the bomb goes down, we see a lurk from mid, up towards B ramp, IL4. I don't think anyone's going to be expecting this. Oh, Nikita was holding the angle though. Does come out on top. Grifter with the wide peak here, could find a couple, but he needs some backup from his own teammates. I think Nikita revealed his position. Well, they can hear the movement inside of mid. I think they've realized they can't. They're thinking about saving this one.
Yeah, I think that's the right choice to make as well. You've lost the B-bomb site. It's a 4 versus 3, and you don't really have a lot of utility, though it's nice to see that they still have, some of those smokes out there at disposal, but it's still not going to be enough. The one Molotov from Edward as well, again, not enough. To save the weapons for the next round. Rifles. And I guess the players like L4 and Rage just gonna go for the simple eco, and I'd say it's a fair choice. Don't go for the force, but if you're Khan, you already have some weapons to work with, and after this round is over and you somehow manage to maintain the weapons, then it is going to be a very strong purchase moving forward. But by the looks of things, it is going to be a force buy here from Khan, investing into the upgraded pistols. Here is L4. But it's also Edward picking up the FAMAS and ex-Marlian, something we haven't seen in the past. All 5 players heading towards one direction.
I think we saw this on the pistol round, and that was it for ex-Marlian. Smoke going to go down here for L4. He's putting his life on the line to try and gain some form of information here. Nade goes in. How much damage? Quite a bit, actually. Wrinkle to 72. Native to 50. Topper going to be holding on this off angle inside a cave. The flash goes in. It's not really going to help out anything. Nade as well. More and more chip damage being dealt to these ex-Marlian players. It puts this economic buy for Khan into a much, much better spot. The FAMAS starts being more and more lethal. The Deagle the same. Topper trying to spam through. Not going to be able to connect onto that bomb. Still a 5 versus 5 right now, and this retake's going to be quite hard because Marlian have set themselves up in a perfect position. But Wrinkle and Nikita, they get a little bit too aggressive. Push on up, taken down by the AWP and the Deagle respectively. Now just Native in a 1 versus 3. But look at the lurk. Capacho, he's thinking he knows where he is, and he does. Read that to perfection. Bomb going to get the fuse. The 7th round for Khan.
And it's a good retake as well. A solid one from Khan. And I think the most important thing of the retake was what happened once the bomb does get planted. And just a little bit earlier than that, once ex-Marlian advanced on the B bomb site, we just saw so much damage there that Khan delivered on the opponents. Just like you say, chip damage, some nades being thrown out, bullets being fired. And it definitely made a big difference on the retake, and Khan, rightfully so, the 7th round goes their way. ex-Marlian, though, also, in all fairness, they managed to take over the bomb site, but still not managing to hold on the retake. Perhaps in the nearby future they could attempt a similar play, but right now they're going back to basics, or at least the one thing they've been doing so far, and that is mid control. Mid control is the name of the game, and maybe perhaps owner, oh, is gonna sneak past through house.
This is nice. I like this. 4 smokes being committed off the back. All 5 now being deployed by ex-Marlian within the first 20 seconds of the round. All now faded. Edward expecting this push from owner off the back of that smoke. There's not really much research you can do on ex-Marlian, so at least not on this map. So this isn't Khan reading into previous matches. This is more just playing what they know to work, hoping it works against ex-Marlian, which it has been doing, of course. One more round is all that's going to be needed for Khan to be able to pick up this half as their own. Pacho holding for that concept play. He picks up one, looking for the second. Going to get traded instantly by Native from range here. Edward, damage, no frag though. L4 picks that one up, finishes the job. Topper trying to get some form of information from CT. Uncharacteristic miss there from Wrinkle. Does get punished by Topper off the back of it. Now on a 2 versus 2. Health advantage going to the way of the CTs. And, well, they're going to be pushing together. Nikita deep inside of the tunnel towards Donut. Native in Temple at this point. Topper has no idea. They're not going to clear it. Well, L4 is, and Topper's going to clear the angle that he needs to as well. Great teamwork there with the bomb now being defused. No one holding CT was certainly a bold angle.
It's somewhat, I think, the risks that can happen here on this map of Ancient. Again, like I said, it definitely has some of those similarities with a map like Cache. So, for example, if you do take mid control as a terrorist, then you can definitely try to go for the full-on rotation through CT spawn over towards the A bomb site. That's definitely an option that you can do, and perhaps some teams may do it in the nearby future, or perhaps while as the meta is developing, this seems to be just the perfect opportunity to make these ballsy maneuvers. I'd say it was definitely a nice attempt there from ex-Marlian, but still not enough to pick up the rounds. Though Edward, this time we can see some mid-aggression from Edward, and he has at least made sure that ex-Marlian will stay right behind that smoke. And if anything, if you're ex-Marlian, you don't want to push through that. There's no way in the world you have an easy angle. And speaking of angles, Capacho, massive frag.
Very, very nice from him. Native getting taken down. The smoke and the flash allows him to jump up onto Plat there. He's on through a 3K. He is indeed going to be able to find it. Owner trades it back. No more kills for you. Head spotted on Crypto. Owner now caught off guard as Edward lurks around, essentially through T-spawn to be able to find that kill. 9-4 now. ex-Marlian need to try and find a couple of rounds here, or they might be banking on a strong CT side.
Oh, this is somewhat uncharacteristic for a team that has decided to go for the pick of Ancient. This is the one thing I really didn't expect, because ex-Marlian, I thought they must have done the preparation. They feel comfortable in that now, but as we can see, Khan, they're playing some really good Counter-Strike here on Ancient. And Edward as well having a pretty solid performance, which is something you don't always expect out of the veteran, and this is a massive pickup. Though Wrinkle, you can definitely see some, I guess, frustration. He's going for a very ballsy maneuver, pushes through the smoke, but as we can see, Capacho taking matters into his own hands, but also dropping dead, giving owner the chance to pick up the AUG. So at least that's one good weapon in their hands, but it's still not looking like a good round. L4 holding the angle. 47, double P comes in. Good kill here on Nikita, but nice one from Crypto.
Topper retrains his aim, knows where they're going to be pushing from. Owner with this recovered AUG. Can he spot anyone out? Bit of an off angle here. Does indeed find Topper. His head going to be visible there. And Topper's not going to be able to connect the shots. Now on a 2 versus 1 with 50 seconds on the clock. There's an opportunity here for Owner to be able to continue dealing the damage. Now rotating all the way around towards the A site, making a lot of noise in mid. Edward, yeah, reads it, hears him. Gonna get taken down. Surprised that Owner didn't backtrack completely through A main to be able to execute on the A site. Instead, just trying for that mid push, see what he can find. Doesn't work out in his favor. It's going to be 10-4 right now. And having a quick look at some of the stats on pro level ancient, or at least games listed on HLTV. 54% of all rounds won are on the CT side. So the map is leaning more towards a CT-sided position. Of course, that could transition with the meta shift, but at this current moment in time, it is pretty CT-sided. Marlian securing 4 rounds, maybe going to be looking for the old nuke silo play where you try and get 5 and then you're relatively happy with that, and then you just continue your aggression on that CT side. Still got a while to find out. It's going to be the final round of our first half, though. Is a 10-5 scoreline on the card. Wait and see. Ray's going to be looking for that opening pick. Not going to be able to connect onto Owner nor Native. They find the frags. Carpaccio holding quite deep into main right now, just waiting for someone to push up to him, which, of course, we know is still yet to occur. Edward, he's going to catch this bomb. Just the right time if he's aware of it. Needs to check behind him. Carpaccio's found one, and yep, there it is. Bomb down, and I think this is all but over now. Native in a 1 versus 4 with the AWP available. Not even going to try for the no-scope. Carpaccio ensures it's an 11th round for Khan. 11-4. Not great for Marlian. Been able to find 4 on the T side. Could be enough. We'll have to wait and see.
Look at the frag distribution as well. Almost every single player sitting on... Oh, actually, we do have 3 players on the side of Khan who have 12 frags, and we have 2 players who have 14. Edward, of course, being one of those players in 14 frags, having a very solid performance on Ancient. Great to see that the veteran still has it in him, even on a fresh map like this. And also, you can just see how this new map, you can definitely see that we haven't seen a lot of save attempts or many eco attempts, so to speak. We've been seeing some more faster style of Counter-Strike, and definitely some Counter-Strike in which teams are more than willing to go for risks. And well, this is one of them. The duel's coming into play. Nikita getting himself too. Edward now moves in with the P250. Nice one on Brinkle. There is one player still backside, could be taken care of, but it's also a chance for Khan to get that ball planted, and with Toppa securing the frag on Krifta, I'd say the round is coming to an end.
Yeah, almost an inevitability that round goes the way that it does when you got Edward on your squad. Of course, known for his pistol plays. Just goes to show that certainly hasn't died away at all. Bit of a interesting buy here by ex-Marlian. They've gone for a full commitment when it comes down to pistols on 4. Spam here from Nikita does a lot of damage and almost gets that 3rd kill, but bullets do just fly away. But yeah, as I mentioned, look at this commitment here from ex-Marlian. A lot of utility, upgraded pistols on 4, and swag 7 on Nikita. What's he going to be able to find with that?
Oh, for sure. Definitely makes sense to use a shotgun, like you said. Close quarters engagements. That's definitely the weapon you want to utilize. L4 spots out the player in the cubby, and we see the rotation here from coming in from Cave. That is a massive dig with the Max 7. Luckily for him, he can still avoid the bullets. But Edward, he's playing a dangerous game. He's going to go down to the shotgun. Not really sure what Edward was thinking going for that fight. That shotgun was looking deadly, and Rage wins the fight against Native. And you'd have to be careful to fight Nikita, but it will be Rage to clear things up. And so Wrinkle, he at least recovers the AK-47.
This is a significantly better map for Khan, it would seem. And the fact that they're now, soon to be moving onto their own map pick of Dust 2 leads me to believe that Marlian might have showed the hand yesterday. They've essentially put all of their effort into that game on Mirage and then fallen flat trying to mastermind against Khan. That's worked out. Ancient very soon to be going Khan's way. Only 3 rounds in it now. Economy for the CT side is certainly not great. Look at these 2 kills from range. Nice little spam from range, and then, you got a shotgun? No, you don't. Get out of here.
Not too shabby here for a squad like Khan to dispatch of their opponents. As we know, those second rounds can be very lethal and very dangerous for the T side to attempt to win, but for Khan, they may have some difficulties entering the bomb site, but overall, it's a good round for them. 13 go their way, and ex-Marlian, not much to work with in this round. Certainly, we have some tools. We have that 1 AK-47 in the hand. Wrinkle, it's Nikita with a very good shot with the 5.7. So even though it's pistols at play, Wrinkle with the AK-47, Khan has to be a lot more careful even to fight for something as simple as mid control.
Are they expecting the close angle? Oh, Rage! He's expecting something! Finds Wrinkle on the back burner and able to take down Native at that close angle also. Topper picks up one. Nikita with a pickup of their own. Now just Krivda, Deagle in hand. It's going to be a tall order to be able to find this, and there's plenty of time. And as a matter of fact, look at this. This is a full rotate. Around the world. On Ancient, it would seem. Krivda read it quite well, though. Information's in his mind, can hear the steps. Is he going to be able to find this kill onto Topper or onto Ray? Swing, misses the opener, and you only get one shot at those. 14-4 now. Khan just 2 rounds away from securing this first map as their own. It's looking almost certain at this point. Ex-Marlian. Not found around on this second half yet.
No, not yet. I mean, they had to go up against the pistol, they lost it, and there were the few rounds in which one of them we saw the force bind, and afterwards just a simple, good old-fashioned eco. But now we're gonna see ex-Marlian with the real guns. The M4s, the AWP in the hands of Wrinkle. This is the one weapon you definitely want to see. He's currently playing from house, so again, standard stuff, something like you could see on a map like Cash, where the upper ends up playing middle, and he can also come in with a swift rotation towards the A or B bomb sites. And Khan is so far playing somewhat of a safe game, even a player like Apache, just keeping a close eye on A main, but doesn't want to commit there just yet. But we do see a commitment, or perhaps a possible one from Khan in middle. Edward is holding his angle, and they might try to throw in the flashbangs to try and clear out anyone holding the house position, but luckily for them, there's no one there.
Topper looking to try and find at least one of these two players, but it's a great double peek there from Krivda and Nikita. One above, one below. L4 knows there's someone inside a donut. Does he know there's two, though? Don't believe so. Edward spots out Native. L4's there with the trade. Looks for one more, but only on the swing. The damage is already done. Capacho, complete a site control at this point. Flash goes into CT to be able to hold off any form of angle from Wrinkle. 6 HP to his name, but up against an AWP, it doesn't matter. Shot's going to connect to the chest either way. Rage now. Don't think he's going to be able to really do much here. I mean, he's going to be able to get the bomb planted on B, but ex-Marlian with that man advantage. Looks like you're going to be able to retake this site. Yeah, they know it's happening. Bomb goes down. Raze gets some more money in the bank, and actually, you know what? That smoke is going to really help him out. Flash goes over and still just holds quite stoic. Running back down ramp, clearing as many angles as possible. Doesn't want to reveal himself as of yet. Utility is completely expended for ex-Marlian. There's no way he actually wins this one, right? It's been left to his own devices. Bomb gets tapped. Still could be holding it. Krivda peeks the angle, comes out on top. No defuse kit, so needs to get on it. Plenty of time to be able to find that, though. It's going to be a 5th round for the ex-Marlian guys. But once again, just getting a little bit too close for comfort, Danny.
Yeah, it wasn't an easy victory here for the side of ex-Marlian. It does come down to the wire. And this time, though, we even saw some aggression from the members of ex-Marlian. Going aggressive, going for some of those engagements, and even though they end up losing control over the A-bomb side, eventually, the fact that the two players don't really commit towards the B-bomb side and are playing together still helps them win out the 1v2 clutch. As in this case, Khan, they do get that bomb planted, but it's not like they're swimming in cash, even though they did win the previous rounds. They'll go for the reinvestment, but this time, though, it's somewhat more lackluster in that end. Khan, though, putting a lot of emphasis for what seems like the A-bomb side, though keeping lonesome L4 close by the B side of all things. But Khan, slowly but surely, shifting their way towards A.
Pacho. Ooh, once again, Wrinkle. Characteristic misses here consistently now. Hasn't been as good as we've seen him in the past, and does get dropped down to 47 HP, opens up the B bomb site. Edward, dazed and confused it would seem, as Owner's going to be able to find an easy frag for him. 3 versus 4, that man advantage going to the way of Marlian, but we've seen this happen time and time again. And with L4 on the rotate, patience here, spots out Owner, sees the second as well, goes for that secondary peek, but it's going to be Topper to back him up, and it all falls apart. The re-rotate from L4, Topper with the stoic hold on site, find himself a 4K. It's 15-5 already.
Oh, it was such a massive play as well. As we saw in the post plant, the fact that the flank comes in at just the right time helps Khan win a massive round. As we see, entering the bomb site was somewhat more difficult. There were some trade frags coming in, but this setup, though, coming in from Tapa as well as L4, saves the day as Khan makes it to 15. But for ex-Marlian, this is looking like an abrupt end on the very first map, being their own mapping. Oh, they're getting spanked. Edward, massive pickup here in Brinkle, already first man going down.
Yeah, it does drop down to 8 HP during the process, but I don't think he's really going to care about that. Topper going to be thinking about jumping around the corner. Don't know if he's really going to be expecting the Swag 7 once again from Nikita. Pop Flash goes out. It's not going to connect onto anyone. Topper's back. Nice shade of white right now, but this swing could be huge. Who's going to come out on top? Oh, it's actually going to be neither of them. Both whiff a little bit there. Topper only getting dropped down to 85 HP. Don't know how on earth you only do like 15 damage with a shotgun at that range, but either way, we move. Owner finds 1 kill to be able to bring us back level. It's on to Edward after that initial damage. Nikita falls back during the process as well. Still quite a split side are the T's at this point. No major stacks. We're seeing 2 people aiming more towards the B site, but there's still a bit of approach to go before they can fully say, yes, we're committed here. 40 seconds on the clock as well. Time is ticking down with the bomb rotating round from T-spawn, being quite slow along with Capatcho as well, shift walking all the way over. They're not taking any chances.
Rage as well. Very careful in his approach. He knows the power of the AWP, but it can also be quite struck by. There could be a fast peek towards ramp right now. 15 seconds. The push is going to move in. Khan need to have full control of the bomb site, and the nade eliminates Owner. So now they can very easily take over the bomb site.
This will be huge from Nikita.
WP is not going to be necessary. This is going to be the end here of Ancient, and it's a massive victory for Khan as they raid the map and they secure the victory against ex-Marlian.
How was that happen then? You pick into Ancient, and it's a 16-5. Your map pick is a 16-5. No. Back to the drawing board, Marlian. That is not how you want that one to go. Fantastic from Khan. As I mentioned throughout that game, a much different side to what we saw yesterday. Remember, their scores yesterday against Entropic, 16-6, 16-4. Of course, we know Entropic's definitely a powerhouse in CIS right now, but you expect a little bit more from Khan. Clearly not. They dropped down to elimination stage, and now they're already styling on Marlian. So maybe just outclassed in that first game in the kind of the start of the groups inside of that bracket, but now falling more into where they're going to start dominating. Where was Wrinkle in that game? Truly, we need to see more from him. He was the star player kicking, dragging Marlian, kicking and screaming yesterday, and clearly him not showing up is causing some issues on the server. So I think Marlian needs to take this as a bit of a reset, go to Dust 2, where usually they're a little bit more confident on, and see whether or not they are indeed going to be able to take that second map.
Yeah, and of course, guys, that leaves us to the end of the very first map of the best of 3. But luckily for you guys, it's a best of 3. We still have some more Counter-Strike coming right up. But before that, we're going to go to a very quick break, and we'll be sure to bring you that second map. So stay tuned.